Not understood. Yeah.
live from Long Island, New York. Hi, Agnes. How are you doing? It's Ryan O'Neill Williams. We are Love, Death, and Taxes. Welcome to the weird world that we live in. How you doing, Agnes?
I don't know. Feels like sometimes like in a twilight zone. So like, you have to be careful. Very
Yeah,
careful.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. I have to say to you, I love coming on the show with you. I love talking with you, having these conversations. It's like I meet with my friend once a week. Honestly, most times you and I do not talk during the most of the week, right?
That's
Because
true.
most of the time the conversations are had right here, and I will literally say not only to you but to people who come on the show, we're doing the show, we'll be talking, and that talk could have been had here and people could have enjoyed. I'm saying that to say now I feel like I have to be careful what I say because we live in a world where you can't just open your mouth and say what you want to say anymore. And
Hold on. The,
that,
the freedom of speech out the window, right?
it seems to be out the window. The most outspoken country in the world seems like you can't say what you want to say. Now, let's put a little asterisk there. There are a lot of people who have been saying for a long time that they can't say whatever they want to say. And I think there needs to be an asterisk because a lot of the things they were saying were either one, false, or two, just inflammatory. Like they were being mean to other people. Honestly, by my standards, sorry, by my standards, and by generally the standard that most people from the past have held. And so them saying, oh, now now you libs know how it feels. I'm just like, no, no, this is not the same thing. In
That's
fact, it's
correct.
very different. What do you think? Have do you feel like you need to be careful about what you say now?
Not only now, I did for me it was different experience. Number one, being from different country where the whole culture is very conservative, you have to watch what you're saying. So for me
Okay.
that was
It was a regular.
norm.
Okay.
Coming here, and I'm here already 30 years. um just in this country 30 years. I left home 37 years
Okay.
ago. So it's
Okay.
I got used to over 3 years, because I left when I was 20 years old. To that I can be outspoken, that I can be honest, that I can simply express my opinion without accusations, without um, I'm looking for a word and I don't have one right now.
Without being put in jail for it or
Yes.
have like legal consequences for saying the thing that you want or being shunned by the rest of society. The truth
Simply
is,
it was acceptable to agree that we can disagree and we can move on.
yes,
It was
and to
okay.
move on.
We can agree to
Absolutely.
disagree. We don't have to look at everyone is looking through different set of eyes, based on their own experience, based on
Yeah.
their own knowledge, based on their own education. It takes a lot to into forming your own opinion, not just taking you know from the ceiling. Oh, oops, that's what I'm going to say, and that's it. That's not about. So it's okay to disagree, but be calm about it, to be polite about it, and you can express your own opinion. You don't
Right.
have to look like everybody else.
Yeah.
That's what makes us all different. Where right now, we have to definitely watch what we're saying, because the freedom of speech is it's disappearing. It's really disappearing.
It seems as though, okay, so like you, where I grew up at the time that I was growing up, the world has changed in 30 years. The truth is, yes. And
Yes.
I've been here in the United States for 30 years. But the world has changed in 30 years over the last 10, maybe 20. Certain things have been, more acceptable. Where I came from in Jamaica, a lot of things were very religious and so very conservative. And so,
Yeah.
even though you may have been um, into this thing or that thing, or even not into that, you kind of have to go with the flow of everybody else, or else you are even treated in the same way that another person who is different or who presented themselves differently, you are now put in the same boat with them if you don't shun that person for their lifestyle. And when I say freedom of speech, now I'm talking about their lifestyle, how they want to express themselves through clothing, how they want to express themselves with what they wear, how they walk, whatever. All of that is freedom of speech. And now it seems as though that, from a developing country mindset, we used to say third world country, now we say developing country mindset, is now here in the United States of America, is the type of thing where you can't say something and not expect to have consequences. Is it possible that, and this is the tough part, it's one thing to say things and people, but for someone to be able to say, I'm going to sick the law on you, cops, or I'm going to have someone from ICE come and pick you up, or Department of Homeland Security come and pick you up because you wrote an op-ed piece, or because you have a tattoo. We think you're a gang member, and we're just going to ship you off or take you away. What is this? What America is this? Right? And people are saying, oh, using the F word, the fascist, and blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, that is literally the definition of what that is.
Yes.
I'm a little surprised. I'm very surprised. I'm more so than I guess I expected. And I see a lot of people are going along to get along. Um, I think we have always heard people say in the 1930s and 1940s, what would you have done? And we're seeing what they would have done, because I think everybody is abdicating their responsibility to not just free speech, but for standing up for other people. Very interesting. Tell me what
You
you
know,
think.
it's really sad about the Department of Education, because I think it should be enriched instead decreased and cut down. And in that department, people people don't know their history. They don't know history not only of the United States, they don't know history of the world. I don't know everything, but God only knows. Now I understand at my age why my teachers, history teachers, were almost beating that history into our heads. That was a reason for it. History repeats
Yeah.
itself. History repeats
Yes.
itself. If you don't
Yes.
have if you don't have appreciation and respect for the history, we find ourselves in a situation that we're finding ourselves in, because we
Yes.
are back in 1930s in Germany. We are back there, right there.
Yep.
And encourage listeners to Google the history what happened in 1930s in Germany and what happened afterwards, because that's how it started.
Yep.
And there's a lot of people, oh, that's a lesser evil. No, evil always disguises itself. So it is just unbelievable that some people that I consider smart are going along with a lot of ideas that they completely don't make sense. And why it's expected of all the citizens here and people that they live here simply believe in something that was said because that person said it and we have
Yes.
to believe it. Like, so we are no longer allowed to think for ourselves. Don't we have a common sense? Don't we have logic? It does not make any sense.
Right.
Zero.
Doesn't make any
Zero.
sense.
Or
Yeah.
because someone said something. That's it. So it has to be good because that person said something.
Because that person said it, because they happen to be in a particular position and nobody else. And that's the greatest thing about the United States. There were always rules, and a rule of law in this country literally was like, yo, there's a certain amount of corruption, but even if you had corruption in your small town and something bad was happening here locally, you could always say, listen, at this court, I'm not getting a fair shake. Can I go to the Supreme Court of the state or the federal court of the country? And so move up until people would say, hold up, hold up, hold up. What are we doing? Why are we biased against this person when the law clearly says XYZ? And it seems as if the very top of the government here now is biased in a certain way, and regardless of what it is, the the um the opinions that seem to come out are already set against whoever it is. And I listen, I understand. From, if you're a conservative, hearing me say that may sound to you like it's ironic, but the truth is, I think it's ironic that they used to always be talking about the Constitution, the Constitution, the Constitution. And all of the things that are being proposed now are completely against
Yeah.
the spirit and the letter of the Constitution of the United States. The holy grail that they held up, they're squatting down and peeing on it. That is what they're doing. That's how I feel right now. And I'm like, that's the one thing that was great about the states, that you could always say, well, maybe it's not fast enough. Justice ain't fast enough. But at some point, you could go to a certain level and get justice. I don't know if that's the truth anymore. I don't know if that's a thing that we can really say. And I guess I'm speaking about from a perspective of someone who's seen it in another place where you can't get justice. You may as well just go home and hide. Leave people alone. And someone punch you in the face, just deal with it. Go home. Go deal with it. That's not how this country was built, and that's not how it's set up. Now, I don't know. The bureaucracy that kept those things going is gone.
That's why
Anyway.
France is asking for the Statue of Liberty to be delivered back. This country is no longer on principles that was built. Our founding fathers are really turning in their graves. That used to be a country that democracy was striving, that everyone was equal, with equal opportunities, and everyone and the middle class was able to send kids to colleges and have them educated, and like every generation, everyone was going up and up and having better life, and that's what it was. That's why I see, this is again my opinion, I see that United States was an example of what's supposed to be like, and in the human rights and helping others, and everything was great, and that's why it was an example of democracy throughout the world. And now, what the hell is happening now?
Yeah, I don't know. It's disturbing, and I'm not saying they always got it right. The truth is, a lot of times people were Um, maybe they were Jewish, maybe they were immigrants, maybe they were people of color, maybe they were just outsiders, and they didn't always right away get treated correctly. But we've progressed to a point where you can appeal. You know, you can say, I'm not saying America's perfect. There's no, it's not. But we work it out. Normally, we work it out. We can talk to one another, work it out. Can you imagine someone says to you, oh, we made a mistake. We shipped that guy all the way to another country. And
now we cannot get him back. Sorry,
we
we just
don't,
don't do
yeah,
that.
it's out of our hand.
Yeah.
That is not taking responsibility. That's one thing. But two, the only reason why they're doing that is because they've decided that whatever mandate they think they have is more important than doing the right thing. That has always been the thing too. United States, even though it would on the down low, like not do some right things, they would always say publicly, we're going to do the right thing. We're going to try to do the right thing. That's not what's happening anymore. It's like we're doing the right thing for us. What? That has never been the thing. And then I now fully understand. I guess I didn't understand it before. I used to hear people use this word, globalist or globalism.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I completely understood what people were complaining about or why they were complaining about it before. But once these tariffs came in, it's almost like scales fall off of my eye and I kind of understand what is going on. Did you see that board that he had? And he was like, these people 67%.
You know, they're not true numbers.
Yes, no, none of those are right numbers. What those are is trade deficits. Those are not tariffs that they have against us. That is how much more stuff we buy from that country than they buy from us. Now,
there is a reason.
Obviously, there's several reasons.
How many people's in the country, the size
how
of
many
the
people,
country,
but also how much we consume. The United States of America is a huge consumer. We consume more oil than we can produce, and we are currently the number one producer of oil, which is crazy. The number one, because we're pumping so much. And you know, this guy came in and he's talking about, oh, you know, he's gonna drill, baby, build. But Biden was already pumping more. I think we need something like 150 million barrels a day or something, and we use 180 million. So we still have to get 30 million from somewhere outside. So of course there's a trade deficit. Why would they buy oil from us if we need all of the oil we produce?
No, exactly.
Oh my gosh.
Well, listen,
it's
everything's gonna be fine. Everything's gonna be fine. Those penguins will step it up. They will pay the tariffs, and everything's gonna be fine. Everything's gonna be clear and fine. I have a feeling that thanks to them, we're gonna make it.
The penguins are gonna fix it up. Ladies and gentlemen, if you know what she's talking about, there's a set of islands. I think it's either called McCook or McDonald's Islands, in the middle of the ocean,
Arctic,
that Trump put 10% tariffs on. And as it turns out, there are no people, 0 people living on that island, but it is completely covered in penguins. And because the penguins
surprise.
Because the penguins are not the penguins have been cheating us. I mean, what
years now? Years. I'm telling you. It's like it's time that someone takes care of that. Yeah.
What have we to offer the penguins. And why aren't the penguins buying things from us right now? That is crazy talk. That doesn't even make any sense. Which says to me, there is not, you weren't doing this because you wanted some sort of equivocation. You're doing it because you're trying to get the penguins to do what you want them to do. Or all right, so let me stop joking about it. You're trying to get people in the world to do whatever it is that you want them to do. Um, I, 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 I gotta be careful and say what I say, but right before people came into power, all of a sudden they had cryptocurrency. Yes,
Yeah.
and if
And
you
that person
need
doesn't, that
to
person doesn't know
show
anything about it.
deference,
He just knows that someone did it for him and it's
nothing
there.
about it.
And it's not nothing else. Nothing else.
Yes, and it's under his name. And so, if you want something to be done for you as a country, guess what you go and buy? Apparently, that's the thing. So, China, Russia, Turkey, whoever you are, and you have sanctions against you, because that's the other thing. Not only do you have tariffs, you also have sanctions against you. All you have to do now is go and buy some cryptocurrency from your boy there. You know, your good old boy. Just buy some of his crypto, and he will be nice to you. Or give over what he wanted Ukraine to do. Give over their jewels, okay? Or
So,
sell me your TikTok because it's making so much money. We want it to be controlled by an American company. By the way, everybody should do exactly what the TikTok guys did. Call his bluff. Call his bluff. Don't do it. Don't do what he wants. You, if he puts tariffs on you, put 2 times the amount of tariffs back, and just tank the stock market. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm saying this, but tank the stock. How much we $3.5 trillion in 1 hour? That's crazy. And it's like,
we are
well,
in a second quarter of the administration. Thousands and
three
thousands and thousands of people are
months.
unemployed. Thousands and thousands of people are unemployed. Families are their incomes are being reduced. They're not going to
I
be
didn't even
able
see the
to
job
buy.
numbers today. Did the job numbers come?
Yeah, they're not going to be able to buy cars or new furniture or send kids to school. And I mean, yay, we're going to be rich.
No, we're going to be
When?
very, very broke.
How? Yes. The
That's
middle class is
that's the
gonna
thing.
it's gonna disappear. It's gonna be rich and peasants.
I don't even know if the dollar as a financial currency is going to survive this. I think everybody should call his bluff, do back to him what he does, and then he'll have to either one, reverse it, or two, decide he's not going to do it. Because that's what's happening with TikTok. He was supposed to cut down to, now he's extended the deadline because TikTok did not find a buyer, you know, and he's hoping that it will be purchased by Oracle, which actually houses the majority of TikTok's servers here in the United States anyway. Um, but I heard that YouTuber Mr. Beast was vying for it, and a couple other people who actually understand social media were vying for it, and everybody's like, no, they're not going to get it. But I think that fine, it's a good idea, but again, that is almost the same. It's the same thing. It's freedom of speech. It's freedom to do what you want to do. I'm a company, and I must now sell it to you in order for it to keep going. Then what sense does it make? Why would I bother to sell it to you? You know what? let me just take it away from your country and just use it the rest of the world over. What sense does it make? I know
Yeah.
it's a big, it'll lose them money, definitely, but
Yeah.
it'll be done. I mean, it's very disturbing. It's very disturbing. All right, so take a breath.
Deep breath. Deep breath. Yes.
Woosah, woosah, and let that go. Somebody sent me over an 80 page um, an 80 page synopsis of what their book is going to be about. And I
Mhm.
have to tell you, first of all, that can't be that can't be 300, can't be 400 pages. It's probably going to be closer to maybe 500 pages, unless you drop things out of it, which you'll probably end up doing. But, ladies and gentlemen, you are in for an amazing read, which I think is probably going to be happening. Maybe it'll be done editing, you said, at the end of the year. Is that what it is? Maybe. And then printing. So maybe we'll have it in early 2026. But I am so looking forward to my friend's memoir. Agnes, you want to tell people about? Please tell people about it. Please tell people about it.
What do you want me to tell? And then it's, give out all the
Just
secrets. I've been talking about this book forever. And finally it's coming to fruition. And I mean, it's been a long, painful process. Painful because all the memories were causing me a lot of distress, and that's why I was not able to complete it
Mhm,
myself. And
mhm,
even when I was going through the synopsis, that was just 10 pages at the time, and then I have to take a mental break because it was just too much. It's very emotional. It's a roller coaster. Um, you know, as, as you saw it yourself. And but I was thinking about the title, and one of the titles that I had in my mind, it was "What doesn't kill you makes you stronger." So
yeah,
that's the true to the world, to the
that's
every word of that, right? So that's it.
absolutely very, very true. And that's what makes it great, though. I mean, you have to, that's what, and by the way, I read it and then I looked at it and then I had AI look at it and I had, my own. I love literature. People may or may not know that. They may hear it in my voice. They may not hear it in my voice. I don't know.
You should write poetry. I told you that already.
I, it, I, my ex will tell you that that's probably what I did to win her over. And so she
Just
feels
put it
like she got
together, everything, and you can
tricked. Yeah. She
publish.
feel like mentally she got, yeah, she got okey doked
Okay.
because I, 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 but I feel it most, and I guess maybe all writers feel this. I feel like I'm not as good as the greats, the classics. I love art and I love enjoying art. And when I looked at your synopsis, what I could see was the hero's journey. That's what I could see. I could see Hercules. I could see um, um, the Odyssey. I could see Star Wars. I could see a person who has a problem and who gets challenged to find a new way and goes through all these trials. And those trials change that person so that they get stronger and faster and better until they come out on the other side happier with the things that they want in life, and have moved to a place where they can be in the Thanos garden. Did you watch I'm going to talk about Avengers. But in the end of Avengers, after Thanos has healed half of the world, like he goes and he's just very content, and he's just like walking through a meadow and taking his hand and running it through wheat.
That's
And
me.
there's a
That was
golden,
based on me. That was based on me.
yeah,
That's
yeah, he's just content. And that's when I read it, I was just like, yes, you went through it, and there was definitely trials and tribulations, and oh my gosh, am I going to live through this, and blah blah blah. But you get to the point where you come out the other side and you're good. And I'm not saying your journey doesn't continue. I'm not saying you would have,
oh, it's
but
not over yet. Yes, it's
yeah,
not over
but
yet. But
happily,
see,
but
to
happily
me,
ever after.
yeah, to me, that was it comes. It's like half and half of my life, like beside the childhood and everything else. But when I
Mhm.
got married first time in church, right, and
Right.
that was strange wedding. Starting with a lot of questions and everything
No
else, but
spoilers. No spoilers.
I'm
No
not gonna
spoilers.
spoil it. No. But after the divorce, I was not allowed as Catholic to come and receive the communion. So
Right.
for decades, I was not allowed to participate as I would like to.
Dilemma.
Beside, oh yes, so there was a lot. So that's why it was so important that on our anniversary we got married in church, my husband and I, because that finally all that period of those decades of all those trials and tribulations and the problems and horrific experiences, that kind of ended. And
Yes.
it's not like the 10 years with my husband there were problems, no, but um that summarize all those decades. That's why the
Yes.
book ends at that point, because that's a
Yeah.
nice
Yeah, it is what it is. I'm saying right
nice
now, it
summary.
ends to where it is. I know who
Yeah.
you are, and I know you're having right now your happily ever after. So I'm looking at it like that and saying this is the point where it ends up really good. Like if you read Howard Stern's book, at that point, he seems like he's having his happily ever after. But then a few years later, he does get divorced from the wife who's so wonderful to him inside the book. But the actual the story of it is still so beautiful, and the person is still an
Yeah.
amazing hero, and that's what I'm saying. We got to make a trailer. You got to figure out how to make a trailer without any spoilers in some way,
Oh,
shape, or
I
form.
already have it.
Yeah, okay, it's in
I'll
your
tell
head
you
already.
after the show. But I already definitely I did mention to Richard Squires before my
Mhm.
idea for the next project, but definitely we have to do that because that's going to be like a prequel to my
Yeah.
book, and that will,
Okay.
you and then I'm glad that it's happening this way. This way, you will
Mhm.
understand certain characters, their behavior,
Before.
based
Mhm.
on based on that second book. So it's everything happens for a reason in our lives, and even if every life lesson needs to be cherished.
Yeah.
Everything happens for a reason. Even the bad things, even the hurtful things do happen for a reason. And afterwards we don't understand when it's happening, but afterwards we do understand why it happens.
Yeah.
Even the problems that I'm going through right now, um, with someone close to me, I know it's happening for a reason, so that allows me to relax instead stressing and trying
Yes.
to do crazy things. It allows me to sit back, let it happen. And I know something will come out of there. Good,
Yeah.
bad. I'm waiting for I'm waiting for the reason to be revealed why this is
Um,
happening.
the beauty of having gone through struggles before in your life, and just kind of knowing at some point that things are always working out for me. That's sort of my mantra. I will wake up in the morning and I have a little stress. That's one of my mantras. Things are always working out for me. Things are always working out for me. At some point, it does, because there is, I don't know what you want to call it, grace, God, a benevolence, the universe, whatever it is, but it is positive and it is good, because there is no way we could exist on this planet spinning around an empty space around a fireball hurtling through space at 10,000 miles an hour without there being something benevolent and good that is keeping us here on the planet and not spinning off into space, but also that we get up every day and our hearts beat and our minds work and we can do our work and speak to friends and whatever. There's always a way that it's going to work out. So in a world where things happen, but they always happen for a reason.
Yes, they do. Yes, yes, they do. And you know what? It's it's important. Like when we are young, depending from what household we are from and what we are being taught from our parents. But even at schools with kids, they being jealous or envious or anything we can experience. And then when we grow up, we need to learn. We need to learn to be happy with what we have. And I saw that on Facebook that the most, that we are rich when we can wake up in the morning, that we can have lazy, if we can have lazy mornings, if we have someone loved, we can love to being loved, and having someone someone, and just to be happy that we wake up and that we can breathe and we can do what we want. This is great. Being happy with what we have, not always one thing more, because with one thing more there's more problems. And what's for us, it's gonna be here. You know.
You're quoting Biggie Smalls. More money, more problems. That's right.
Yeah,
So
there
yeah,
you
that
go.
is
There you go. The man was right. The man was right. So
that's right. It is what it is. No matter how he says it. But yeah, gratitude all day. If you can just wake up every morning and think about all the good things that are happening. I mean, we started off this show talking about things that we basically took for granted for many years because you're just able to use it. And this will probably, sometimes I think that this is the reason why this happens. This will make you appreciate when, because this is going to stop. This is going to stop. I see all
it will.
the
Sooner
people are
rather than
waking
later.
up.
It will.
Yeah, people are waking up. People are getting upset. They are going to stop. All of this is going to stop. But until that happens, it'll make you appreciate how easy it was to go through 8 years of Obama or 8 years or 4 years of even Joe Biden and not worry about, oh my gosh, I woke up this morning. Who did he ship off today? Or which 10,000 or 30,000 people did he fire now? Or which country is he trying to acquire and making them hate us? I heard they've written up in Greenland that they're wearing red hats that say "Make America Go Away," and I'm like, yeah. So
Can
it's
you
MAGA.
blame them? Can you? This
It's
is
still MAGA,
European
but it's
country. This is European country who already been under government of somebody else. This
they're
is they
allies.
have independence. They want to get complete independence. This is European country who, whole Europe went through different kind of wars, and independence, it's cherished there and it's being fought for. So this is not such thing, oh, because I want to. I want to
I'm just
I want to
taking
do
over.
it.
So why?
That's why people have treaties. That's why they have agreements between
That's the
countries.
other thing.
Everything can be obtained. Everything
That
can be obtained. The health
that's
can
the
be there. Cooperation can be there. just approach that person proper way. I try to teach someone who used to be part of my family that you can always you catch more flies with honey than vinegar. You don't demand. Be nice.
Be
Be
nice,
nice.
and it will work. It can work. I know. I will say this. I understand the desire to make things happen right away. I do understand it. If you think that something is wrong and you want to fix it, I get it that you want it to happen right away. But the I specifically remember someone coming in the last time in 2016 and saying, "Oh, American carnage." And you now are the source of that very carnage. Very disturbing. Very disturbing. And it's the hypocrisy knows no bounds. No bounds. We just do whatever we feel like to everybody we feel like all the time. Really messed up. Really messed up. I don't even know what happened with those NSA people that he fired yesterday. I'm like, what? The guy who runs the NSA, he's just getting kicked out. Aides to him for the NSA, they're getting kicked out. Why? We'll find out. But nobody should be using Signal. Nobody should be using Signal on their phones. You know what happens sometimes, Agnes? You and I talk, like last week we spoke on Friday, but not necessarily on here. And I'm realizing we didn't even talk about Signal Gate. So
Yeah.
another thing, it's just another crazy thing.
That's normal. The numbers are being just sucked into your phone.
Right, that's right.
This is
That's
so
right.
normal. I have like several contacts numbers, different names,
No,
right?
he has that number on his phone. Here's my theory. He has that number on his phone because at some point, every Trumpster, every person in that admin goes to the media and either writes a book about how terrible it was or just leaks and tells someone whatever is happening. Now, if he did that on purpose this particular time, I don't know. I don't really think so. But I think the only reason why that is in his phone is because he was planning to or has spoken to that person before. No way that is just some random.
Your
Who
phone doesn't
you
suck
know how
numbers
many
in.
people on Sig- Yeah,
Mine doesn't. Thank God. It's
it's
programmed
stuck in.
not to do that.
So crazy. So crazy.
Oh Lord,
I
have
don't even
mercy.
understand.
Give us give us
Cut it out.
patience. Give us patience and give us understanding and 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 more patience and more patience.
So
So
grateful for what we do have, no matter what. And I'm sure more things are coming and it'll be great. Ladies and gentlemen, we're 45 minutes in and we did a Seinfeld show today. We didn't even talk about a specific topic. We just talked about what was that because there's so much happening in the world. We could do this for another hour and still not run out of things to talk about. Rest in peace to Val Kilmer. Um,
yes.
wow, that, that I was like, whoa. I remember growing up with him. There's like 4 or 5 guys. It's they were my Rat Pack, like in the
Mhm.
'80s. It's Val Kilmer and the guys from 21 Jump Street. It's just a different group of gentlemen who were heartthrobs in the
Yeah.
'80s.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the '80s and the early '90s, and it's tough to see him go. But we knew he'd been sick for a long time, so we do understand.
Yeah.
It seems like the Pope is up and shook that off and is
I
doing
guess
his.
God is not ready for him yet.
Yeah, he's like, you can't take me. Uh, I'm good to go.
Yeah.
He seems to be great, but then
Thank
there's
God.
someone
Yes.
else. There's someone else who I think passed away recently. I don't remember, but yeah, we have a fantastic world, and it's great to be here all the time. God is great all the time, right? That's
Yes.
basically what it is. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you do have tax problems, I know the deadline is coming. Check out nytaxresolutions.com because that is where you can get help from Miss Agnes Amisano, your tax pro who can help you, especially if you have business and you haven't done your taxes for years because you're scared or you're getting those funky calls. Like and subscribe to this show. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this chit chat, or if you don't like our chit chat and you want to send us some mail, you send it at mailbag at Love, Death, and Taxes, and we will entertain the possibility that you might be saying something that we want to chit chat about. Oh, but we're not scared of you. Nobody's scared of you. We should be. We should be, but we're not. We're too dumb to be scared.
Oh boy, you asking
Agnes,
for
yes.
trouble, mister.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Now I'm not even sure what and what not to say. Like, I have all my papers here, but the truth is, I'm going to leave you with this before I let Agnes say the
And
last
remove
thing
all
she
those tattoos, man.
the truth. Yeah, I got everything like right here.
Oh boy.
In a steel aluminum briefcase, like right here. So even if there's fire, because if you don't have paper, apparently, let me see your papers. We are in that era again.
And update your driver's license.
Oh yeah, that new thing, because that happens in
Yeah.
May, right?
I had mine done years ago. That was one of the first people who did that.
I'm telling you, I guess I'll go and get it done, but that doesn't mean I'm going anywhere. I'm not leaving the country because I don't think they'll let me
No,
back.
but this way your driver license shows, that
Yeah.
little flag there, so shows that you're a citizen.
Yes.
So
I'm just saying. I don't want no problems.
Yeah,
But you see,
yeah.
you see what you're saying? You're saying that I can present the documents, right? What is happening with these people who they shipped away is they have not been given due process in order to show their documents. And if they don't have due process because they are not citizens, then nobody has due process. Anybody can be shipped off.
You know what was happening during the war, from 1939 to 1945. Germans will put trucks in a vicinity of, let's say, 4 blocks square, right?
Mhm,
Whoever was on the street, everyone was going in a truck. Doesn't matter who you
mhm.
were. Doesn't matter if you're Jewish, Polish, Hungarian, or Slovenian, no matter who. And
Okay.
the way they were just swept on and taken to camps.
Yeah.
Remind you of
Yeah.
something?
No, it's exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
It's exactly what's happening. God forbid you're Venezuelan and have a tattoo of autism on your arm. You're a gang member. We're just going to snatch you up and take you away.
Yeah.
Never seen anything like this. Never
Yeah.
seen anything like it.
But
and-
to finish on a nice note,
Mhm.
happy birthday to little Frankie, who's gonna be 4 tomorrow.
Nice,
You
nice.
met him, actually. You met him.
Yes, I
He
know.
was 2
I
at the
know.
time. And happy birthday to my darling husband, who's having birthday this Sunday.
Yeah. What up, David? What up? Happy birthday, yo.
Yeah.
So, guys, so of course, I think I know where you're going.
Yeah, of course we are going there. You know it.
Are you gonna stay overnight?
No.
Okay.
Well, Monday we have to go to work, so no.
Okay.
But
Oh wait, I thought you would go tomorrow instead.
Well, we seeing our friends tomorrow, so
Oh, okay.
somewhere else. Yeah,
Very well. Enjoy. Tell David I
Thank
said
you.
happy birthday.
Absolutely.
You have a great evening. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you next week right here, same time, same channel at Love, Death, and Taxes. Bye-bye.